How's everybody doing? My name's Mike, and you got my dog hanging out on place on the left side of your screen, and the dog at the end of the leash. His name is Boogie, and we're working on his daily routine. You're gonna see me do 3 sits with him in a row, and on the last sit, I'm gonna have him stay, and I'm gonna walk around him. So there's gonna be 3 sits and a stay on the third sit where you're walking around the dog. We don't say the word stay. We just repeat the command sit to the dog. And then we make a circle around the room, having the dog heel, and then we put them into a down position. So that is the second part to this basic routine. Now the dog breaks the down like you see there. I'm giving him a correction with the e-collar and putting him back into the down position, and then repeating that and giving him a chance to do it correctly. You want to end the exercise with the dog doing it correctly. And we're marking, of course, when the dog is not doing something right, or when the dog does something correct, like sitting, we're saying attaboy. So you're seeing we're doing the 3 sits. The third one, I'm going to tell him sit and then walk around him. And then we'll have him heel and go in another circle. And again, that's kind of the first part of that basic routine, or the 3 sits. And the second part is the down. So again, we ask him to down. And if the dog goes to break the down, we're going to mark it with a no, give him the correction with the e-collar, and then walk around him and have him do his down stay. So with the basic daily routine, you have 3 sits, and then there's a stay on the third sit, and then you walk around, have the dog heel, put them in a down stay, and then walk around them. And that is your A-B part of the routine. Now, since he was having trouble with his down stay, I went ahead and put him in a down stay at the end of it and repeated it just to kind of work on that specific position with him. So then you see me kind of going above and beyond to make sure that the dog's going to stay in that position. And when he stays in that position, I'm giving him affection, marking it, saying good boy. And on the other hand, when the dog doesn't do what I ask or moves from a position before I asked, I correct the dog and give them a e-collar stimulation, put them back in that position. And you can see at the end the dog's doing a much better job staying in that down stay, because it's much more clear what I want from the dog. Alright, so that was the first part of the routine, and here is the second part, the second way we can perform the routine, which is we're using attrition with the dog. So we're going to be throwing out commands over and over to the dog, and we're going to do it in a random way. It's going to be very unpredictable compared to the way we were doing the first routine. Now, a lot of dogs enjoy this because they get to move a lot more, and it's a lot faster pace, and it challenges them in a different way. It can make them feel real confident to do the things right and do it very quickly for you. Now, in most of this routine here, I don't correct him much. There's maybe 3 or 4 times I have to correct him for getting out of position, but for how many different positions we're doing is most of the time the dog's doing the proper position and getting it right. So, we're still encouraging them for when they go to the position we ask them to go in, and we're also discouraging them when they get out of that position. Now, it's a little more advanced on the handler's end, because you have to be able to work that leash in a manner that is going to be conducive to working the dog. You can't, just when you saw me walk around the dog there, you can't accidentally pull the leash. That's going to make them want to come with you. You see the dog not go down when I ask him to. I mark it with no, give him a correction, and put him in that down position, and then we continue. It's just about making the dog do it properly. If the dog makes a mistake, that's okay, but we want to go ahead and have the dog do it the way we would like them to do it. That's how they're going to gain success. That's how they're going to learn. Just right there, you see the dog step off the place bed before I asked him to, and as soon as his foot hit the floor, I gave him a correction. And then you also see when I tell him to come with me, he also did not want to come with me. So I give him a tug. He doesn't come with me. Give him e-collar correction and tell him to heel, and then that kind of unlocks him to come with me. We just want to mark the things that we don't want from them. We also want to mark the things we do want from them. For instance, you see him doing a really good job laying down in the middle of the floor. So that whole time I'm saying, good boy. And I'm also saying, down. I keep repeating, down. As I go by him and I feel like the dog might move, like when I go right behind him, I'm saying, down. I'm giving my dog affection, just kind of making sure that he's not going to break that down. And I know when I go back, he does break it down. He anticipates before I tell him to heel, right? Here he goes. He breaks it down. No, give him a correction. Put him back into that down. So now I have to drop the leash, repeat what I did to make sure the dog does it the way I want him to do it. If I were to allow him to move forward the way he did, he would forever want to move out of his down to anticipate when I'm going to tell him to heel. And we want him to wait for us and wait for us to give him the command. All right, so here is how we feed the dogs, and we just let them go ahead and sniff the food in the bowl, and then we hold the bowl, we go ahead and tap it, and then they're free to go ahead and eat it. So I kneel down, I let him sniff it, my hand's on the bowl, he makes eye contact, I let the bowl go, tap it, and then it is he has the next 20 to 30 minutes to go ahead and finish his food. The reason it's important to do it this way is you're giving the dog some type of boundaries around the feeding, and it also sets you up as the leader just by providing food for the dog. So otherwise, if you're just leaving the food on the floor for your dog 24/7, then it's really just a wasted opportunity that you could be taking and just at every instance telling your dog, hey, I'm the leader here, I'm providing you with this food. It makes them look up to you in a different way versus just the food being on the ground. The food's nobody's, and then they can actually develop bad habits and start to want to protect the food as a resource rather than setting them up for success, having the dogs in their own separate crates so they can eat peacefully. And then if there's any nonsense, we could correct it. And we eliminate the process of the dogs being able to do anything to each other. So we want to set them up for success, set them up to succeed, and teach them if there happens to be some sort of issue. And here we are taking Mr. Boogie out for a little bike ride. So the idea of the bike is to have the dog exercising. So we don't want the dog in front of us. If he's in front of us, then if he sees people or other animals, he's going to want to go after them, and it sets him up to be the one that kind of decides what to do with whoever you encounter on the walk or on the bike ride if he's in front. So the rules for the bike ride is the dog's at heel. You can see where my heel of my foot is and where the dog is. I mean, it's okay if they're right next to us while we're doing it. That's fine, but we don't want them ahead in front of our feet because that will make it so that they can pull and do all kinds of things that could be dangerous for you while you're on the bike. So we go pretty slow when we're on the bike. We don't take them out for very long either because especially a dog like this cannot take the heat for very long, and you really don't want to get them super tired. You want to just take them out, for 5 to 15 minutes max when you're in a place like Southwest Florida. You'll see kind of at the end I encourage him to come with me by just patting my leg and kind of calling him to come with me, encourage him to go just a little bit faster. But again, we want to do a short ride. We want to make sure the leash is short and loose. And I also have the leash turned inside out through the handle, and it is wrapped around my chest like you would wear a satchel. So that's why I have the ability to let go of the leash if I need to, and I still have my whole torso holding the leash, and the dog can't really just throw me off balance. But what I'm doing is I have it wrapped around my torso, but I'm also using my left hand to guide the dog when I need him to come with me. So I'm correcting him anytime he's going to the edge of that grass or I feel resistance on the leash. I'm giving him a correction and tugging him in the direction that I want him to go. But for the most part, he did a pretty good job. And again, this is built off of heel. So we teach the dog how to heel, and then it's fairly simple to transfer that to a bike. The dog already understands the concept of hey, don't pass my foot, because if you pass my foot, I'm going to correct you. So the dog already kind of gets that concept, so it's much easier to then get on the bike and just show them, hey, we're moving a little bit faster, but these rules still apply. And it can be particularly helpful if you're in an area where maybe the dog's getting distracted. It'll be a lot easier to ride by that distraction when the dog's moving fast.